Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Welcome back.
So, guys, of course, we've had this plague upon the land for quite a while now. We're heading towards a year,
Yep.
and it certainly has changed life. And when it first came out, too, we saw all these horrible scenes, especially from China, of the culling of so many animals.
I know, it was really sad to watch that.
It really was. And we've had so many weather events that have led to crop losses. And here we see the culling of 330,000 chickens begin in Japan after avian flu confirmed.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, local authorities in Western Japan began culling about 330,000 chickens on Thursday after an outbreak of a highly pathogenic avian flu was confirmed at a chicken farm for the first time in nearly 3 years in the country. So this is not a good situation. And when we actually start looking all across the world, we see this seems to be something that is popping up in many different places.
It really, really is, yeah.
H5N8 bird flu, as we see here, moves into northwestern Europe. 13,000 broiler breeders have been culled on a farm in Cheshire, England, following discovery of this strain of bird flu.
Very curious stuff.
And over here we see France places parts of the country on high alert for bird flu. France is putting parts of the country on high alert for bird flu after cases of the disease were reported in Western Europe since last month. Around half of France's administrative departments will be classified as high risk, while the rest of the country will be on medium alert, the government said in the decree published in its official journal. And over here we see culls in Dutch and German farms over outbreaks again of the bird flu, the H5N8 flu. A Dutch farm in the town of, how would you say that? Ploeflich, I guess. And another nearby have been told to cull 200,000 chickens. Chickens are also infected at a small poultry farm in Nordfriesland, part of Germany's. Well, we'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
The thing that we're getting at is this is spreading. So we have England, we have France, we have Germany as well, and we have the Dutch outbreak going on. We have Japan with 330,000 culled, and here we are seeing other areas as well. H5N8 has been detected in migratory birds from Russia. Russia has reported an outbreak of this highly pathogenic avian influenza on a farm on western Kostroma region, and it's killed more than 14,000 birds. Meanwhile, officials have culled another 283,000 to stop the disease.
No, this is absolutely huge.
Yeah, this is adding up pretty quick. Israel, avian flu was discovered there in mid-October as well. Several outbreaks were reported on several poultry farms. Again, 226,000 birds culled. We talked about the UK, Germany, and the Netherlands. And here you see also we could add into that South Korea as well. And of course we have Japan. So this is obviously something that is going to impact the food situation.
Definitely it will, and I wonder if they're going to use this to bring in more laws.
Yeah, well, more laws always come in. That's part of it. We see that all the time. So, you have all this culling of birds at a time when there's been so many other contributing factors, so many floods, and then we also have had the drought and the wildfires. All of it, is adding up. And as we were saying, you're going to have massive inflation and we're going to have food shortages.
Yeah, we are.
And here we see soybean prices hit 4-year high as nerves rise over food inflation. And dry weather and government stockpiling have pushed soybean prices to a 4-year high as a broad rebound in agricultural commodities creates unease about inflation. Grains and soybeans have been rising steadily since the middle of the year, buoyed by governments shoring up their reserves in anticipation of disruption from the second wave of the pandemic that the world is undergoing. China has been particularly active buyer as the country steadily rebuilds its big herds in the wake of the devastation caused by African swine fever. They lost half of their herd.
That's a huge deal.
Strong demand suggests that some countries are concerned about food inflation, and it is creeping in some places. Hot and dry conditions in southern Brazil and Argentina as a result of the La Nina weather pattern that we've spoken about in past weeks. They have knocked the supply of soybeans, lifting prices traded in Chicago to $11.01 a bushel, up more than a third since their April low. That's a big increase. Any further weather issues in South America, and this can give reason to see soybeans in the teens. So we also see corn prices have made a similar recovery since spring to about $4.15 a bushel, helped by a harvest shortfall in the Ukraine caused by dry weather. Wheat has been in high demand from large buyers such as Egypt and Morocco amid a drought in North Africa, and that was trading at $6.15. And China, meanwhile, has sold large amounts of grain from its strategic reserves since May in an effort to dampen rising grain prices. It needed to replenish its stockpiles. They were getting close to very, very low levels. And it's interesting because, that's what you saw when we were doing a meditation yesterday, and you saw the blackout, that's going to be happening in many parts of the world, mostly here in the Western Hemisphere. When we looked at China, you saw lights on, but you saw, people hungry.
They were hungry, and there was problems with hygiene. They were pretty miserable.
And Russia was doing really well.
Russia seemed fine.
Yeah. Russia seemed to be in some of the best shape from what we had, and we looked all over, and you had said Africa was not good at all.
No, it wasn't in good shape at all.
So the question is, food inflation back? Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I mean everything is as far as that goes. This is the big thing we're going to be facing, and so this again is reason to do what we can for ourselves. If you are blessed and you have property and you can have a greenhouse, I would strongly advise to doing that so you could grow your own stuff year round. And if you're also blessed with enough property where you could have livestock, that would really be a blessing. And then again, coming together with friends, family, neighbors, it's imperative in this time.
It is. And, our ability to make friends and pull neighbors together too, no matter where we're at, is really important.
And to work together. To work together, most definitely. That is key. We are going to need to be self-sufficient. And, at a time when there's this push to rely on Big Brother, our Uncle Sam in the U.S., we have to rely on each other, and we have to become self-sufficient as much as possible.
Well, that's why I thought it was so warming when I did look out into America and even in the big cities where people were actually really coming together in a huge way.
Yeah, make cooler heads prevail with everything that's going on geopolitically, so people won't be too pulled into euphoric highs and then horrible lows. And, right now there are people celebrating in the streets over a perceived victory. Again, it's managing the emotions. And we've talked a lot about Buddhist detachment and not allowing yourself to be pulled into the drama. And that could help you to, while we're on a roller coaster, it can help you to stay kind of stable and grounded because, there's a lot of twists and turns ahead.
Yeah, it is really important to be grounded and centered and not just going way too far this way or way too far that way. That's going to become more and more important. Yeah.
And, I look at some people that are YouTubers out there, and they've so bought into the illusion that it's kind of disheartening to see that, some perhaps are not as awake as they could be, and they're becoming part of the drama instead of rising above the drama.
And well, no matter how you look at it, the two wings come from the same bird.
Very well put. So guys, as always, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Anybody needs to reach out to us to set up a time to talk, time to have energy work done or what have you, feel free, EEARTS at Proton Mail or evolutionaryenergyarts at Gmail. As always, God bless and namaste.
God bless and namaste.